Are you a pre-physical therapy student determined to rise above the rest? In this video, I want to share with you the transformative journey that one of my students has gone through that has made dramatic changes in his application and his personal life that work. And to be honest, this student got into multiple PT programs. So there are 7 different strategies that this student implemented, and this is what I teach to my students in my mentorship program. So make sure you watch this video all the way to the end because you don't want to miss the last 3. Lego. What's up, everyone? My name is Dr. Justin Lee, physical therapist, and I mentor students to get accepted into physical therapy school. Feel free to follow me on my other social channels, but if you want to learn the most insight and gain practical tips and strategies for the PT school application, then make sure you watch me on YouTube right here. So I got to tell you a little bit of background about this student and where this all started. So this student came up to me and said, Justin, I just need help with everything. My academics, my extracurriculars, my networking, my personal statement, like my strategies, like just how I live life. Because first off, I'm just not happy in the way that I am living. And I know that there has to be a better way, a more optimal way, a more strategic way to approach academics and all the different things that are related to the PT school application, but also just like my character, my self-development, like who I am as a person. Like, how do I do all that? How do I change all that so that I can be a really, really successful and good physical therapist? I said, brother, you came to the right man. I'm going to help you out here. But the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to self-evaluate. And I asked him to evaluate these 7 different categories and rate himself on 1 to 10 to see where he stands. And I encourage you, as we're watching this video, go through these 7 different categories and rate yourself as well. And I'm going to give you some practical steps on what you can do to improve these 7 areas. So number 1, I asked him about his academics, his GPA, how is he doing with studying, all things related to getting good grades. Number 2, I asked him about relevant experiences, volunteer, extracurriculars, time in the clinic, observation hours, where are you with that? How long have you been involved? What is your commitment? Number 3, things about the application, more specifically the essay and also letters of recommendation. So what is your writing skills like? Like, are you a confident writer? And also your letters of recommendation. Do you have people that you're going to ask? Have you even thought about this? Do you feel like they're going to write you a strong letter of recommendation? Number 4 is networking. Where are you with your network? Like, are you in a group? Are you in a class? Are you in a pre-PT club? And how about other students surrounding you? Are they on the same journey as you? Are your friends as ambitious and willing to be self-reflective and grow in their career and professionalism as well? Also, how about any mentors? Do you have professors or teachers or friends or colleagues that can help you or mentor you? Or do you have a pre-PT school counselor or a coach like myself who can mentor you along this process? Number 5 is time management. Where are you putting your hours in your day? You have 24 hours, 8 of it is to sleep, hopefully. So then the rest of the time, those 16 hours, what are you doing with that time? Are you hanging out with friends? Are you partying? Are you studying? Like, what are you doing in that time? Number 6 is learning. Are you continuing to learn? How are you self-developing? Are you growing in your expertise, in your craft, in your hobbies, as a person, your personality, your leadership? Are you attending classes, seminars, certifications? Where are you with that? And number 7, how is your exercise life? Are you lifting weights, cardio, group fitness classes? Are you going on a regular basis, 2 times a week, 3 times a week, 5 times a week? And for how long? 10 minutes, 1 hour? And are those sessions productive? Do you have a routine or programming put in place to see gains in your exercise physiology? So take a moment right now, pause this video, or you can rewind to hear these 7 aspects again, but definitely rate yourself 1 to 10 to see where you stand. Now, after asking my student to evaluate himself on these 7 categories, he came back and said, Justin, I'm not surprised at my self-reflection, my self-evaluation at this, but I am in the 4 or less category for all of these places. And I said, you know what? You're in the right place because I'm going to give you some practical steps to then make sure you can bring that 4 to at least a 6 or a 7. But the key is to continue these practices. Now, if you're watching this video, the first thing is choose 1 or 2 to really focus on, because if you try to do all 7, you're gonna feel overwhelmed, especially being in school and doing life. But choose 1 or 2 of them, and once you have mastery, or once you feel like, okay, I got the hang of this, then you move on to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th strategy. Before I get into the actual practical steps, I think it's really important as to why this is so important. When you apply to PT school, PT programs are looking at you for, number one, making sure you're academically successful. Like that has to be number one. However, number 2, they're looking to make sure that you are a well-rounded person. You're good, just a solid human being. Number 1, are you just a lover? Can you care for people? But number 2, are you continuously learning and growing and willing to take criticism and constructively build off of that? Are you implementing what you practice? Are you exercising on a regular basis and making sure that your body stays healthy, your mind and mental health stays healthy? So where are you with all of that? So if you are a person, in other words, if you are a person who has a 4.0 GPA but lacks the 6 other categories that I'm going to talk about here, then PT programs don't really care about that type of student. They rather have a student that has less academic success, however, better areas in these other categories. So let's freaking just jump right in. So let's start with academics. There are 2 really practical steps that you can start implementing right now. Number 1 is get into a group. You can form your own group with the classmates and meet on a regular basis, at least 1 or 2 times a week for an hour, just to study, to collaborate, to talk through some of the concepts that you're going through in class: biology, chemistry, physics, psychology, exercise physiology, whatever it might be. Ask questions. They're going to ask questions. It's going to help you really think. If you can't form a group by yourself, which I don't know why, then you should go into a structured group session. Very likely, if you're struggling from these hard science classes, biochem, physics, etc., your school is going to have structured classes. I believe it's called SI sessions for some programs and universities that have that. But each class and course should have supplemental instructions on how you can learn and gain deeper understanding of these concepts. Number 2, start utilizing actual proven studying techniques. And I'm going to teach you one thing that has helped me dramatically. This is called active recall. Now, this means when you read something or go over something in your notes, after about 10 minutes, I want you to think back and say, wait, pause. What did I just read 10 minutes ago? Or go through an entire section of the chapter of the book or the lesson, take a moment to pause, and then recall that information. Okay, what were those 3 points? And if you don't get it the first time, then go back, review those 3 points, put it in your mind, pause, and then try to recall that information. This is called active recall. It's forcing your brain. This is neurochemistry and neuroscience that's going to create those bonds, those neurons in your mind that's going to help you grow and remember. Your memory, your active recall. This is amazing. So check this out. Once you get to a point where you get those 3 points or you recall the information, great. Now you have it in your mind. Move on to the next section. Then after you read that, ask yourself, wait, that first section, what were those 3 points again? And then once you get that, then you ask yourself, okay, this next section, what were those 3 points? Great, you got that. So now keep stacking all of that information until you finish the entire chapter. This is going to ensure that you can recall that information on the dot. This is really important because it's proving to yourself that you can recall that information on the spot so that when you take your exam, you can say, okay, I have those 3 points on that first section, those 3 points on that second section, and you move on and forth. This strategy, active recall, is a game changer. If you're not using it, you are not studying effectively, and you literally can cut your studying in half if you practice this. Number two, relevant experiences, extracurriculars. So first thing, you're going to need observation hours, right? So at a PT clinic, whether that's volunteering or working as a PT aide or a PT tech. Now, this is what I recommend. If you haven't started already, go get experience anywhere. Just look up physical therapy clinic near me on Google, find the spot, go down the list, give them a call. They don't answer, email them. If they don't answer, then go to them in person and ask if they are hiring or taking volunteers. All right. Most of you already have this point already. Now, this is the second level to get to that next level here. Most of you have only been to one place, probably an outpatient orthopedic place, and you've been there for however long. Have you ever thought about trying a different location, a different clinical setting? Now, it doesn't even have to be a different realm. Like you're an ortho, it doesn't mean you have to go to neuro or pediatrics. You can go to a different orthopedic clinic. This is still important so that you can expose yourself to different experiences and approaches and physical therapists and the way the clinics are run. Now, however, if you want to have extra credit, you do want to go to a different clinical setting, ortho, inpatient, hospital, neuro, pediatrics, geriatrics, cardiovascular, military, sports, all these different things. So please, even if you have 20 hours, just 20 hours, all right? That's 4 hours on a Saturday for 5 weeks. That's still enough. Please do that. That's so important. Number two, extracurriculars, different activities outside of the PT world. Just make sure you get involved with something that shows leadership, number one. And number two, you do it long enough. Meaning, if you only have a couple months before you apply to PT school, that's not enough time. Start early. If you're a sophomore and junior, you're at an advantage. Just pick one thing and do that the whole time. PT schools really appreciate commitment, and they want to make sure that you follow through with things and you stick with whatever you sign up for. Especially in this upcoming generation, y'all do not commit, all right? Whether that's in your relationships, I'm talking to somebody here, or in the things that you are involved with, whether that's work, extracurriculars, all those different things. So stay committed to it. I promise you it's going to be really helpful. This is a long video. We're only on number 3. Okay, number 3, the application part. Now, this is talking about the essay and also letters of recommendation. So let's talk about the essay very briefly. If you are a sophomore or a junior, don't even worry about writing your personal statement, because by the time that you apply to PT school on PTCAS, PTCAS, the essay personal statement prompt is probably going to change. I'm going to say that one more time because a lot of students come to me and they make this mistake of starting early, which I do appreciate. However, they say, Justin, can you read my essay? And I'm reading their prompt. And I said, that is from 2 cycles ago. And it's actually a different prompt now. And there's nothing worse than having, that feeling of getting something done, looking for approval, and your mentor says you did it completely wrong. So don't make that mistake. Don't start with that. However, what you can start with is to start making some journal entries about your life. More specifically, I want you to focus on one thing, but there probably could be multiple experiences. The one thing is, when are times when you struggled or failed? And what have you done to overcome that struggle or failure or learned from that? And what have you gained from those experiences? What have you learned from those experiences to become a better professional? Whether that means I learned how to time manage a lot better, whether that means I learned how to take criticism a lot better, whether that means I learned how to not do it with this approach, but instead do it with this approach. Just make some journal entries on that. I promise you, you're going to thank me later. Do that now, put it aside, just buy a journal for PT related things and just write in that journal every time. Letters of recommendation. If you haven't done so, start asking right now. It does feel awkward to ask a professor or a physical therapist, hey, can you write my letter of recommendation? Even though that you have 1 or 2 years before you actually are going to apply. But it's still good to start asking now so that that physical therapist or professor can start thinking about you. right? They can start thinking about and watching you and observing you to see what qualities you exemplify, what characteristics that you have that are going to make you a really good physical therapist. There is nothing worse than asking a professor last minute, especially because you never participated in their class, but they're the only professor that you have left on your roster, and they're going to write you a subpar letter of recommendation, and PT programs will catch wind of that, and they will not make you a strong applicant. There's a lot of weight on your letter of recommendation, so it's better to start early. So let's talk networking. So you should be in a pre-PT club or health professions club. There should be one at your university or college. Now, if you don't have one, you definitely need to join my pre-PT mentorship mastermind group. It's an online group where we meet one time a month, and I teach you so many valuable tips to help you get accepted into PT school and have a lifelong, enjoyable career as a physical therapist. So if you want information on that, there is a link in the description on how to join that. However, if you're in these pre-PT clubs, number one, be an active participant. Go to your sessions. So important. There are students who are on the same journey as you, who have the same dreams of wanting to become a life-changing difference maker physical therapist. Your friends that you hang out with do not. So you want to align yourself with people with similar goals, because they're going to help you think of the right questions. They're going to help you stay on the right path to make sure that you are building, because this is your future, your career that you're talking about here. Your friends who are, I'm sure they're great friends, but they're not going to help you make money to obtain this career, to make money so that you can get a house or do whatever financial things, have financial freedom that you want. All right. So make sure you get involved with these clubs. So important. Let's talk about time management. Now, for the most part, your most important duty in life right now is to be a strong student. That means as a student, you need to have great academic success. You need to have great networking. And also, you need to be able to have the peers around you and mentors ahead of you to teach you along this way so that you can be successful. That's really the majority of where your time should go, is to have academic success and anything related to your professional career. Now, outside of that, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have time for that. Yes, go have fun, go hang out with your friends, go to your parties, go do all those things on the weekend. But the majority, right? The majority of your time should be focused on academics. One strategy that I teach my students when they study is what I call time blocking. This is a very effective strategy on how to study effectively. All you need to do is figure out a block of time when you're going to study. I would say about 2 or 3 hours, right? You've done this before. You're going to the library, you're going to Starbucks, coffee shop, you're going to study for 2 or 3 hours. Awesome. Now, in that blocked time, you're going to create 3 tasks, the 3 most important things that you are going to study. It could just be one. You have a test tomorrow, so you're only going to be focusing on physiology. Totally fine. But in that blocked time, you are going to have those goals, and nothing else comes in the way except those 3 goals. Phone off. Do not disturb. Laptop, computer, do not disturb. You're just focusing on your studying. And also do Pomodoro method studying techniques, right? 20 minutes on, 10 minutes off. 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. Whatever it is, make sure you have some intervals of studying hard and then taking a break. Studying hard, taking a break. I personally like to do 50 minutes on and 5 to 10 minutes off. 50 minutes on, 5 to 10 minutes off. I get into a flow state and I don't like to be interrupted, so I have the capacity to do that. However, some people, they don't have the attention span, or it's hard to stay focused for 50 minutes. So do the 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then take some time off there. We're almost done. Now, if you have been watching this video and you're gaining value so far, please give this a like. And also in the comments section, I wanted you to write and be vulnerable. Which area are you lacking in, and how far did you rate yourself? 0 to 10. 10 being the best, 0 being the worst. which areas, these 7 different areas, which ones were you lacking in, and what do you rate yourself? Let's move on to continuous learning. You always want to continue to learn and build yourself. And you're Justin, I'm a student, I'm learning all the time. Which, yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. That is your occupation and what you should be doing right now. However, are there certain other areas of self-development that you can improve on? Maybe it's your time management skills. Maybe it's your communication. Maybe it's your leadership. Maybe it's the way that you influence people. Whether you're going to a seminar or a webinar or a free training or a certification class to get maybe a certified personal trainer, TRX certification, CPR, all those things really matter and are really important. And I encourage you to continue to learn. Something that I always am trying to do is to read self-development books. So find the book that resonates with you, not a story, not a fiction, Colleen Hoover or anything like that. Like, I'm talking about actual practical steps in leadership and self-development. Pick up a book, find one that you think are great. If you Google it, top 10 self-development books, you're going to see a bunch on there. Pick one that you think is cool and start investing in that. Lastly, let's talk about exercise. All right. Exercise is key here. You have to have daily exercise or definitely a regimen, at least a minimum of 3 times a week for 30 minutes. That's a great place to start. Go outside, go for a walk, go on a hike, lift some weights. I personally am a fan of lifting weights, if you didn't know already. And also the tone of my voice, if you couldn't tell, this is something I'm super passionate about and something that I really want to talk a lot more coming in the next several years. Exercise. I have been lifting weights my entire life. Since I was 13 years old is when I first picked up a dumbbell, and I haven't stopped since then. Several decades later, I am working out consistently. I'm building my mass, getting stronger, building my cardiovascular endurance, because what happens when you exercise in this part of your life gives you more energy and more clarity to do better in this part of your life. So, quick example here. I exercise. I take an hour out of my day to exercise. That means it's an hour away from my family or away from whatever I need to be doing. However, I know that this is important. It's an investment because when I exercise here, now I have more capacity, more endurance to be able to last longer in these things, like making videos like this, having higher energy in these videos, to be able to coach and mentor my students, to be present for my daughter and be present and intentional for my wife, all because I'm exercising. Now, times that by 3, 4, 5 times a week, and man, come on, let's go. I'm unstoppable, baby. So when students come to me and they tell me that they don't exercise, it makes no sense to me. And on top of that, you're probably a kinesiology or exercise science major, and you're going to go into the field of physical therapy. Why are you not exercising? I'm going to be straightforward here. Why are you not implementing exercise and daily movement into your daily life? You need to walk the walk. You're going to talk the talk, but if you don't walk the walk, then no one is going to trust you, and you're not going to build that rapport with your future patients. Think about a dentist who has messed up teeth. Think about a doctor who smokes or who's obese. If you're a physical therapist and you're not in shape, you're not fit, and you're not implementing exercise, then what are you doing? It got really quiet. I'm going to get off my pedestal, but y'all get the picture. So by investing in these 7 different aspects, you are going to secure your spot in PT school. I promise you, if you master all 7 of these areas, you will get into multiple programs just like my students have in the past. So please make sure you take that self-assessment here from this video and start working on them with some of the steps that I told you and taught you today. Every day is a great day to lift weights, lift others, and lift yourself up.